We had started with this program in which we have to write a C++ program to print the input string in a reverse order. Suppose there is a string, the sequence of characters. Even space is considered as a character. So there is a sequence of characters, for example, computer space science. So I want to reverse this string. The string should be user given input. So we need to reverse the string here. Using the C++ program, we have to take string as input from the user and print it in reverse order. For example, there is computer space science, then the reverse should be E. For example, science is SCIENCE. So we have to reverse it. ECEICES. So we have to reverse the string. This program should reverse the string. The string should be taken as input from the user. The string should be any string given by the user, and the program should reverse that string. So write a C++ program to print the input string in a reverse order using function. So a function should do this task, reversing of the string. A function should perform this task, which first locates the end of the string. Like if I'm talking about computer, so the end of the string is R. Then it swaps the first character with the last character. So in computer, the first character is C, last character is R. They both will be swapped. R will be positioned to the first position and C will be positioned at the last. So, and then second last character in computer is E, and the second let character is O. E and O should be swapped, and it should go on until we could reverse the string. So the function should first locate the end of the string, then it swaps the first character with the last character, the second character with the second last character, and so on. So we have to write a C++ program which will take input from the user, which will take string as an input from the user and reverse it. This task, the reversing of the string, should be performed by a function. So other than main, there should be a function which should help us to reverse the string. Here we have iostream.h so that we can use cin and cout object. Here is conio.h so that we can use clr, ser and getch. There is stdio.h so that we can use getS function and putS function. Like if I want to use getS function, I'll have to have a header file stdio.h. GetS to take input from the user and putS to print the value on the screen. Then there is string.h. This we had learned in 11th also. String.h is used when you want to use functions like strlen, which is used to calculate the length of the string. There are various other functions also present in string.h which can be used, like strcat, string concatenate, to concatenate the two strings, to join the two strings. So if there is computer science, there is string 1 which is computer, there is string 2 which is science. We'll have to concatenate it, we have to join it. Means if I'll use strcat, then these two will be joined, these two strings will be joined. So such functions, to use such functions, we have string.h header file. I hope you remember strcmp, which is used to compare the two strings. Then there is other function which is strcpy, which is used to copy one string into another string. So if you want to use such functions, I will have to use string.h header file. Then here's a prototype of a function which will help us to reverse the string. So we'll see to this prototype of that function later. Let us start with the main function. The program should have the main function because execution of a program always starts from the main function. This main function is not going to return anything. That's why the return type of this main function is void. Inside the main function there is clr which is clear screen, which will clear the output screen. Then we have declared an array of characters here. This is an array and the data type is character. So array of characters, this we had learned in 11th. The characters will be stored in contiguous memory location. There are total 80 characters this array is going to hold. And there is cout statement which will print enter the string on the output screen. Enter the string, and if you want the next line to be printed in a new line, you should use /n here. After that there is get s str1. So this statement is going to take input. This statement is going to take string as an input from the user. Get s. So for instance, I am taking as computer science. So I have this string. Even space is considered as a character. So str1 is holding computer science. This is user given input. User can give any string as an input. Then there is next statement where we have declared a variable len. Len is a variable. You can use any variable name. Here we have used len because this is going to hold the length of the string. Here, length of the string. What is the length of the string? When you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even space is considered as a character, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So how many characters are there in this string? 16. We'll check this in Turbo C++. Here using the strlen function, we will calculate the length of str1. Whatever will be the length of str1 will be stored in variable len. So let us print the value of len. I'll give the input as computer science. So the length of the string is 16. What we got is the length of the string is 16. So what is the length of the string computer science is 16 here. So there is no need of -1 here. The length of the string is 16 here. So after this, when I will take in, the program will take input from the user. In this case I have taken computer science. The next statement, what we have done in the next statement, we have declared a variable len which is equal to strlen str1. This function of string.h will help us to calculate the length of the string str1. What is the length of the string? As we have calculated manually, it is 16. So 16 will be stored in the variable len. Now next statement is we are calling the reverse function. There is a function other than main in this program which will help us to reverse this string which is given as input by the user. We have to this reverse function is going to reverse this string. So what is happening is this reverse function here. This reverse function is not returning anything, that's why there is a void. The return type of this function is void, and this reverse is having parameters. The str1 is passed to this variable. The value of str1 is passed to this str1 array. str1 is what? Is an array. So we are passing str1, so that means and this array is array of characters. So if I want to pass str1 to a variable in reverse function, to a parameter in reverse function, that parameter should also be an array of characters. Okay, and we are passing len to this variable len. This len is an integer value. This len is an integer value. Then this will also be an integer value. So str1, which is computer science, will be passed to this variable, and the value of len, which is 16, will be passed to this variable. Now inside this we have used the for loop because we have to swap the letters. Here in this case I want to swap this and this. E should be at C position, C should be at E position, this C should be at O position, and O should be at this position. So so many number of times I will have to swap it. I will have to swap it 16 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, because the length of the string is 16. So that's why we have used for loop, because so many number of times we have to swap the letters. So for int I is equal to 0, inside the for loop we have declared a variable I whose value is 0, and len is how much? 16. I should be less than 16. If you count from 0 to 15, you will get the count as 16. That's why I should be less than len, which is I should be less than 16. So what is there inside this for loop? Inside this for loop we have declared a variable temp. Inside this temp we are storing str1 I means here I is equal to 0. Is I less than 16? Yes, condition satisfied. So whatever is there in the for loop will get execute. So str1 0. So at 0th position what is there? At 0th position what is there? C. At 0th position there is C here. Then at first position there is O. At second position there is M. At third position there is P. At fourth there is U. At fifth there is T. At sixth there is E. At seventh there is R. At eighth position there is space. At ninth position there is S. At 10th position there is C, and so on. So at 0th position this I is 0. What value is there? C. str1 I, which means C. C is a character. That's why the data type of this variable is char. So temp is holding what? Temp is holding C. Then str1 I, that is str1 0. Temp is holding this value C. In temp, we are holding this value C. If you remember, we have learned swapping of two numbers. Here in 11th standard, we have learned swapping of two numbers. C++ program to swap two numbers. Here it is mentioned without using temporary variable. Even I had explained it using the temporary variable. Using the temporary variable means, just assume that there is a variable int a, and there is variable which is equal to, for example, 3, and there is a variable int b which is equal to, for example, 8. We need to swap these two values, so I will have a temporary variable, for example, int temp. I need to swap these two values, so just assume here's a location. There is a location in memory where this variable a is stored, and here's a location where variable b is stored. B is how much? 8. A is how much? 3. Okay. So if I will copy, since I have to swap these two values, I want to store 3 into B and 8 into A. So what I will do, I will copy, what I will do A is equal to B. This means that A is equal to B. That means A is equal to 8. A is equal to 8. Now the value of A, which is 3, is changed to 8. Now A is holding 8. This value is gone. This value is no more available. This value is gone because I have copied B into A. So A has become 8. This value is gone now. Now if I will use this statement, B is equal to A, value of A is now what? 8. So B will be 8 only. We have lost this value using these two statements. In that case, we use the temporary variable. We use the third variable. That variable can hold any name. Usually we declare that variable as temp. So this third variable will help us to swap the values of these two variables. So what I will do in this case, what I will do in temp, I will store the value of A. Because this value was lost, this value shouldn't get lost. What I will do, I will store this value in the third variable or a temporary variable. So what statement should I use? At first I will declare a variable temp. I will store the value of A in temp. So temp is how much? Temp is equal to 3, we can say. Because of this statement, temp is equal to 3. Now what I will do, A is equal to B. Okay, if I'll write this here, int temp, I have declared a variable temp. Now what I will do, I will store the value of A in the variable temp. So temp is how much now? Temp is equal to 3 because A is 3. Now what I will do, A is equal to B. So A is equal to 8, we can say, because B is equal to 8. So A is equal to 8. A has become 8. Now If now A has become 8 and now this value gets lost, then also it's fine because I have secured this value in third variable, which is temp. Now what I will do, I will say B is equal to temp, which means temp is how much? 3. So B is equal to 3. We have successfully swapped the values of two variables A and B using the temporary variable. Now A has become 8 and B has become 3. So using the temporary variable, we could swap the values of two variables. Same thing is happening in this program also. Using the third variable, we are swapping the values at position first and the last. So what we are doing, we are storing this C character in the temp variable, and at this position I will store this E character. At this position I will store the E character, that means str1 0 at 0th position is equal to str1 len. Len is how much? 16. That means the 16th one. If I mark it with a pen, when I say this is at 0th position, this is at first position, this is at second position, this is at third position, this is at fourth position, fifth position, sixth position, seventh position. There is a space which is at 8th position. This S is at 9th position. This C is at 10th position. This I is at 11th position. This E is at 12th position. This N is at 13th position. This C is at 14th position. And this E is at 15th position. When you count from 0 to 15, there are total 16 characters. So len is how much? 16. We are going to get 16 here. But we want to swap the character which is at 15th position. So what we will have to do, here we'll have to use -1, because strlen is going to give us total 16 value. 16 minus 1 will give us 15, so len is 15. So I should be less than or equal to len. Here I should be less than or equal to 10, equal to len. That means I should be less than 15 or equal to 15. So str1 is 15. str1 15. Len is how much? 15. So what we have done at position 0th, because I is 0 and the character at 15th position, which is E. So at 0th position we have successfully stored the character at 15th position. So now str10 is how much? Now this has become E. This has become E, and str1 length. Now the character at 15th position. Now str1 length 15 has become equal to temp. In temp what was stored? In temp str1, which is str10, which was C. In temp C was stored. So temp is how much? C. So C is stored at location 15th. Okay. So here temp had become C. Here str 0, I was 0, has become character at position 15th. Len is what? 15 has become. So str1 at 0th position E is stored, and at position 15 at each position we have stored the value of temp, which is C. So str1 15 is how much? Is equal to C. Then L is subtracted. L will be subtracted. L was 15, now it has become 14. It has become 14. Now I is incremented. I will become 1 now. I is 1. We are done with this character. We are done with this character C and E. We have swapped these two characters. Now we have to swap this and this. So I has become 1. I has become 1. Is 1 less than or equal to len? Yes, len is how much? It is 15. Len is 15. So, but len was decremented. Now len has become 14. Now len has become 14. Or here what I will do? I will use this statement here. Len is become 14. So is 1 less than or equal to 14? Yes. So whatever is there in the for loop will get executed. So again there is a temp variable which is going to hold the value. I is how much? 1. 1. What is at the position 1? 0. At position 1 there is 0. O. There is O. At position 1 there is O. So str1 1. What is there? O. So temp is holding the character O. It is going to hold the character O. So temp is holding O. I is what? 1. So at first position what I want to swap? I want to swap with C. C is at 14th position. This will be swapped with this position. So this should be how much? C. Here at O there should be C. This 14th position character should be stored at this first position. So str1. So at this location I will store this C. str1 14. At 14th position what is there? C. At 14th position there is C. So at str1 1 what will be stored? C. Then at str 14th at str 14th I want to store this O. At this position 14th position I need to store O. This I have to store at this position. So this statement is going to help us doing that. str1 14th. So at 14th position I have to store temp. What is there in temp? O is there. So at str14 I could store O because temp is O. At 14th position I could store O. So we have swapped these two characters and then len is decremented. Len will become 3. So this will happen how many times? This should happen 15 times because len is 15. It should happen to be 15 times. So let us execute this program. We'll compile it will execute it. Let us put the string. So the reverse of the string is, as you can see, the reverse. We'll use /n so that this could print the reverse string in a new line. Okay, so we are getting the output. So how many times we have swapped it? This m will be swapped with 13th, which is at 13th position there is n. So at 13th position there should be m, and at second position there should be n. Then at this position, third position, there should be E. At third position there should be E, and at 12th position there should be P. Then at at fourth position there should be I. There should be I. At 11th position there should be U. At 5th position there should be C, and at 10th position there should be T. At 6th position and at 9th position, what will be there? At 6th position there should be S. At 9th position there should be E. At 7th position there should be space. And at 8 there should be R. So let us match it with the output. At 0th position we can see E. At first position we can see C, then N, then E, then I, then C, then S. So at 7th position there should be space. Let us count. It is starting from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at 7th position there is space? Yeah, there is space. At 8th position, is there R? Yes, there is an R. So this is the end of the program, which can come for 5 marks. So we have successfully took input from the user. We have took string as an input from the user and reversed it. So for today we will stop here.